Hey, listeners, welcome to another edition of Mixtapes Mopeds with the red wheels and Happy Panda there. What's shaking, Panda?
Oh man, I tell you what, I couldn't be more ready to head on a little trip, a little family trip. So we haven't really covered this because I know you're fans of this place, but it's a summer, a weekly, regular, annual, I guess is the right word, procession that we make to Hilton Head Island, and that is where we are headed tomorrow morning for a week of glorious biking, walking, drinking, eating, and beach going in Hilton Head. So super excited. The whole family.
Our
We're
happy place,
Yeah, it is our
man.
happy place. Yes. The boys are all coming and we got one girlfriend coming. So we're gonna have six there this week. We got a nice little place there, biking distance from Harbor Town, right on the golf course with the pool. And yeah, we are ready to go, packed and yeah. And the cool thing this year with the fourth being on Thursday, I was off today and so got a little pre-vacay going into the real vacay. So yeah, we're super duper excited. So
You're
yeah,
already rested and relaxed.
yes, rested and relaxed and ready to go. Got the Connor's annual pool bar menu updated. So we have a little tradition where Connor either brews beer or his drink concoctions. So I think he's got six or seven new ones for us this year. So looking forward to consuming those while lounging in the pool this week. So that's
How
always
far
good.
away are you from that Marriott? I don't remember what it's called now. It's the Sea Pines Resort, I guess. How far away?
We're definitely could bike there, but it's yeah, bikeable from where we are. So if you know that little lighthouse lane that takes you into Harbor Town, it's like the last road on the right before
Oh
you
yeah,
get to Harbor Town. It's right in
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Go there and say hi to Liz and the rest of the crew at the Sea Pines Club. Let's just say a little bit and go. Of course, pool bar gyms right down the
Well,
road there.
yeah, Pool Bar Gyms is number one on the list, but I think the Sea Pines Beach Club is on our Dirty Niner for bars, so we will be heading there, yes, several times this
And
coming
then, of
week.
course, you got to go. Man, I'm already salivating. I'm like the dog with the bone out there going, stews. Give me some
Oh
stews.
yeah, yes, the
Oh,
Jedi, my favorite sandwich in the world at Stu's. Yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't know. It's just it's the bread. If it's the
it's
meat,
the
I don't know what it is. The sauce.
it's everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
that
that's
is just
that's
fabulous.
yeah, we're
And
excited.
and you wear your highest aid gear because you're going to be second home of every other Ohio person down.
Yeah, there are two places where you find Ohioans everywhere you walk. One is in the state of Ohio, and the other one is in Hilton Head.
No, it is just unbelievably. I mean, just so many people from Ohio,
Yeah.
and now they move there. A
Yep.
ton from our neighborhood now has moved there too.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a great show for everybody today. We're going to be kicking it off. And first segment today, we're going to be talking about the travel destination. Um, the Wheeler clan, we try to get out. We do a lot of doing little day trips and get out and find these cities, stay for the weekend, and we try to, something within a drivable. We were fortunate enough here recently for Huntsville, Alabama, and it's been out there on the list. We've got a couple friends graduated college, high school with Matt and Jane Dodds that live in Huntsville. So we had some folks to go and see there, but we were there on a trip to go see a comedian, Leanne Morgan, by the way, who is funny, funny, funny. If you ever go look her up on YouTube or she's got a special on Netflix too. Absolutely laugh out loud funny. She just filmed a movie here in Atlanta with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon coming out.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
we know at least we're
All
gonna have
right.
a good one coming up, and it's
Yeah.
him in a romantic comedy is gonna be probably pretty good. Yeah, so coming up, probably good movie next summer coming out. But Huntsville, Alabama, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's 3.5 hours here from Atlanta, 2 hours from Nashville, hour and a half from Birmingham, yeah, a couple hours away from Chattanooga. It's just out in the middle of nowhere, and its roots are it grew up on cotton and the cotton mills. But World War II, the government, the military came in and started producing weapons there, And out of that grew after World War II were the rockets that were propelling those weapons. And out of that grew were the NASA engineers. So what's really cool about the city is very noticeably the folks that are live there, you can just tell there's a bunch of
Hmm.
geek
Hmm.
type folks. I mean, nothing wrong with that. My
No.
brethren wandering around the streets of Huntsville. You don't, it's deep south, but man, they don't. There's no accents in that town. Very few. There's so many transplants from all over the place. You can tell the engineers. So one must go when you go to Huntsville. Definitely a place to go visit. The downtown is clean as can be. A great Central Park. They've got a little river running through the middle of the city that comes into a lake, surrounded by some concert venues. Got a great place for having meetings of a convention center. A very bikeable, flat downtown. And anybody's in that house hunter business, man, they are. There's a ton of those ranch slash bigger type houses to go fix up. Just a cool place to go visit. The eatery scene, oh good God. We landed a place called the Purveyor. Food was fantastic, good fish. But one that really caught our attention was we always like finding these speakeasies. And the speakeasy, there's always like some sort of code you get in the place. You go, oh, that's kind of corny and neat, and you go, oh, that's funny. And so this one, we like walk to the place, and you have to go press an intercom, and then they go, "What's the code?" And I'm looking at my wife, and she's looking at me and going, "I don't know. What's the code?" We have a reservation. You don't have the code? Go, no, I don't have the code. Well, we're not letting you in, dude. So now we're like looking for our emails and going, what the hell is the code? So we
What the
find the
hell?
code. We
Yeah.
find the code and come back and punch in and go, yeah, you have the reservation. You're 15 minutes early. You got to wait another 10 minutes. What? Okay. So so we get there like with 5 minutes for our reservation. We punch in the code, get in the door, and this is like it was in a building that had like storage units everywhere. Like you had just walked into the U-Haul storage units, and I mean
Oh,
hundreds of a white storage units. And some of them had like beauticians that were there to cut hair, and then others were storage units. And we're wandering around these storage units going, where is this place? So I mean, we wandered around for the better 10 minutes going, we couldn't find it. We could not find where the heck this starting point was. So finally, thank goodness, one of the beauticians were still there. I go, come on, you got to give me a clue. Where the heck is this speakeasy? And they started laughing. It happens all the time. It was like, it's right there. I mean, literally 15 feet from my nose is this like hidden other door that you have to
oh,
go knock on and give the code again.
oh, jeez.
And yeah. But all of that fun. So another thing you have to go do for the speakeasy, go to catacombs. Wonderful. Some other honorable mentions out there. If you ever want to have, you're a fish and chips guy. You like fish and chips, right? Oh, you don't like?
No, no.
No kidding. Oh man, if you like
Arthur
fish and
Treacher's
chips,
grossed me out growing up. Sorry. Vinegar, smell the vinegar? No,
really,
no.
the best fish and chips I've ever had was at a place called Poppins there in Huntsville. Oh, it was
Hmm.
delicious. Absolutely go. Brewery scene. They've got this area in the city that has about, I'm going to say 10, and they make five slam a yeller hammer, and this is the Alabama chant, yeller hammer or something. One of them's called yeller hammer, and fantastic beers. They make a Czech Pilsner there that's just really good. Yeah, that Connor would love that place.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Another area called the Stove House, bunch of little restaurants. Just a great place to go get lost. So for travelers, you want to go hit a fun city, put Huntsville, Alabama on the bucket list. Spend a weekend. Lots of biking, lots of hiking places. You're right in the middle of a mountain area, but it's a flat city. And I don't want to leave out the must go to. We didn't go inside of it, but you have to go see the Space Museum. It is when you walk up to the Space Museum, you see that first rocket that landed on the moon, and you look up, it's taller than the Empire State Building, taller than the Statue of Liberty, and you look up and go, holy crap, that little module, there's like three people on top of what is just a big bomb going into the air. And then the space shuttle, man, the thing that was strapped onto,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just huge.
Wow.
Yeah, very,
Hey,
very impressive.
I actually know something about the city of Huntsville just randomly. So it is also the home to the best name of a minor league baseball team that I am aware of, the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
No, no kidding. Oh no, we did. We I was trying to find any information about that the team. No kidding. The Rock. Say it again.
Rocket City Trash Pandas.
My new favorite minor league team, except for
Yes.
the banana guys down there in Savannah, whatever that name is. I've not. I want to see those guys. I want to see that. Apparently, hard to get tickets to.
Oh, impossible. They just played at Fenway and they sell out. There's actually a kid here local that Jill knows the mom, and he played at Georgia Tech. He actually plays for the Savannah Bananas.
Bananas, yeah,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
All right. Anyway, recommendation: the travel show on the Red Wheels Panda Happy
There you
Hour.
go. I like it.
All right, Mr. Panda, you got something about home movies
Yeah,
from the 70s
yeah,
to social media today.
yeah. I was in a meeting earlier this week, and we were waiting for it to get going. So there was this, guy next to me. I don't know how we got on this topic of home movies and how, what did you do with them? Did you have them growing up? What kind of movies, whatever. And we just started talking about like the progression from where we were like the 70s and 80s. Like my family had one of those, those cameras that you shot the film and then you would get it you'd send the film in and it'd come back in those little 50 millimeter reels, whatever. And my dad would end up splicing them together onto bigger reels. And then we would put them, and put them, show them on the white screen with the projector and all that. And it had no audio. And so a lot of the film was just like, 20 minutes of a birthday party or you were sitting around a campfire, but you couldn't hear anything. And so I kind of inherited a box full of these. And I remember as a kid, we would watch them with family, whatever. We would watch them and it was kind of a big deal. But now I got all these. I'm like, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to digitize these. So I sent them to the service, digitized it, put it on DVD. We went and took my parents down to Destin for like their 40th or 50th, whenever it was, and I showed them this DVD, and we watched these old home movies, or whatever. And I thought the boys would be kind of excited because I was always excited as a kid to watch it. And they were like, "There's no audio here," and like, "Who are these people? Which one
I'm
is you?"
bored.
Yeah, they were bored stiff, and like, within like 10 minutes, they were on their phone or they went into the room and played their video games. And then I just kind of realized that now in today's world, with a 30-second clip on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, it's just how we've evolved from the way we grew up to the way we consume video today. And at least I would say now, obviously, we got video, and then you can do graphics and do all these things, but there's such a preponderance of video that's out there on all of our social media feeds. I wonder if we'll end up somehow stitching that all together as our kids get older, and are they gonna care about it, or is it just no longer people care about? Because I think as we get older, we start to think about legacy and what are we going to be able to pass on to grandkids so they can know
Welcome
who.
to Red Wheels Panda.
There you go. Exactly. So your social media, I got social media. How we have evolved. What will we kind of share with our grandchildren or whatnot. But anyway, it's just the thought about how things have evolved and now how easy video. You can take a video, post it for 8 billion people to see in like 5 minutes. And in the 70s, you would have thought to do something like that.
Or
So
for us, couple hundred.
yeah, Yeah. So it's kind of
Our two
technology.
listeners, our two listeners, Jack and Stone.
Yes, yes. So that was just a topic. That was something that popped into my head this week, and kind of interesting, I think.
That's just that fantastic. We're all short attention spans too. You only want
Yeah,
30 seconds. I mean
yeah,
that's how TikTok, you're right. How's it so?
yeah.
You only want to see a brief and then move on to the next one. Move on to the next one. At least you had watching the video. I was stuck with those little white cards you stick in the projector and then you click,
And it
click,
goes click,
click.
click, click, click,
Oh,
and then
and
goes
God
to the next
forbid you
one. Yeah, yeah,
spill it or reload the dumb thing. You go click,
yeah,
click.
yeah.
I'd be like crying to my aunt and uncles, and they're going, "Oh, we're gonna go watch one of those shows." With I'm like, "No, I don't want to watch." All right, we are going to be moving on. Next segment is some of the best fireworks places you've seen. Some of the best shows. We are going through some of these holidays here recently, and some of that is especially family time with some of the fireworks or shows we've seen. So, Panda, what's some of the best you've seen of
Yeah.
fireworks shows?
Yeah, initially I was like, I don't really have any. And then I thought about like, oh, I actually got some really cool places. So I would say the best one that I ever have been to is when I was living in San Diego. We went to Mission Bay Park. And so if you've ever been to San Diego, as I know you just were there, but there are all these beaches. So there's Ocean Beach and there's Mission Beach and then there's La Jolla and then there's downtown. And so we were on Mission Bay looking at the Mission Bay fireworks. Each of these communities has their own fireworks. So you watch your fireworks, but then you can see like fireworks shows, not just random yeehaws throwing up some fireworks. I'm talking about the city municipality putting up their fireworks. So you can see like four or five going on at the same time. It was just pretty amazing, that experience. So that was probably my favorite one that I've ever been to. I know you've been there, but you probably not during the July 4th time
No, never.
period.
But we did catch. So one of the things that I was even throwing was not even the fireworks show, but we have caught quite a few fireworks shows with, and even some Fourth of July in my past is at baseball games.
Mm,
I've caught a couple up in Chicago, and even
mm,
in Chicago, same kind of experience around that area where you can see 4 or 5 fireworks shows because of all
yeah,
the closeness of all the other
yeah.
suburbs that were doing their fireworks shows. But one recently was at Dodger Stadium. I saw one of the coolest things we'd ever seen, and it's where you get, I don't know, it has to be a couple thousand drones that are putting on a show up in the sky, and we watched the show from in our seats, and then we went, we want to beat the crowd, and then we were catching the show right underneath the drones, and you could hear them,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah,
just automatically programmed to
yeah,
put
yeah.
put together a show. And if anybody can ever catch one of those, it's absolutely amazing. But then I'm going, wow, if they can put those couple of thousand drones and put it together for a little show for the audience over here, what the heck is the military doing with those
Yeah.
drones? Now you go, la la
Yeah,
la 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 la. I want to
exactly.
know.
Send 2,000 drones to an aircraft carrier or something. It seems like
Right.
that'd be hard to stop. Yes. So
Yes.
you
How do you
immediately
stop
go,
it?
yeah, yeah,
Yes, I'm sure they got to figure it out with shutting off some sort of the electricity or some crazy new science to be able to do that. But
right. Yeah.
yikes.
Yikes.
Or,
Yeah.
you get 10,000 of smaller ones that you just
Hmm.
fly in as bees going into a
Just
place.
overwhelm them. Yeah. Yeah. So another one growing up, I don't know that if they do it anymore because it's probably not really safe, but we used to go on the top of Mount Pleasant and watch the fireworks from the fairgrounds, and that was cool as heck. I loved
That
that as a
was one of the
kid.
best. Yeah, I did the
That,
same thing. That was
yeah.
so cool watching the fireworks from the mountain because you were almost like at eye level.
Yes, yes. That was as a kid, I that was by far my favorite way to watch fireworks. Lancaster always did good fireworks. It was awesome, but just
Really good.
a little bit better just from that top of the mountain, given its proximity to the fairgrounds overlooking it there. So that was probably my second coolest. I think Hilton Head, been there over to the Fourth many times. They do fireworks at Harbor Town and Shelter Cove. So we'll actually see, they do fireworks every Tuesday. So we'll actually see fireworks while we're there, but not the Fourth. We obviously just missed that. And then I would say the next one was in Buckhead on top of one of the hotels there by Lenox Mall. Just parked the car up there on the roof, just sat out
Parking
with a
deck. It was
cooler.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you did
Roll
that
out of the
too.
car, sit on the hood, and get
Yep,
out the lawn chairs. It was
yep,
that was awesome. Yeah.
yeah. That was fun as well. So those are the ones that popped into my head as the ones that I remember best. Do you any on your list?
We're fortunate for the town that we live in, which you live in as well. I think you've been over here a couple times for them. Is we're able to sit on our back deck and we get to see the whole town's fireworks, and that just from the
Yeah.
convenience standpoint, it's just nice. And of course, this pyromaniac here of me and the
Yeah.
neighbors go to the Walmart. Used to we have to go to Alabama to go to the state line and go buy fireworks. Now we just buy them here, and we're in the backyard. So we shoot them away from the house, but oh, man, it's just we put our own fireworks show. And every year we always catch something on fire. This year we caught on some of the brush because it's really dry.
Yeah.
Fortunately, or threw it into the mud and it burned itself out. But yeah, that's another fun one is the local ones and all
Yeah.
fingers. Got them all.
Okay, got 10. I see you count
Got 10. All
10.
digits. All digits are here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
fireworks.
back
Just
deck
I
is
don't know
good.
what it is about that just going off in the air and you go, God, you just ooh it's just it's such an enjoyment. Um, that day I love seeing them, but it's a cool thing. Family, the kids love them.
Yeah. Well, you got fireworks in your right hand and a beer in your left hand, so can't get any better than that. I'm not sure that those two things mix very well, but it sure is fun.
Yes, that's true. They do not mix very well. All right, what goes with fireworks and 4th of July is the Dirty Niner this week. We are
Yes.
moving on, and this is the best barbecue that we have seen around the U.S. And I think we're going to have some good ones, and I'm sure there's going to be some folks out there go, oh,
Yeah.
so the best barbecue around, and there's just so many good barbecues. I'm going to really say right up front, I'm a beef barbecue type person, and I'm also the tomato base. Give me that kind of sauce. You
Yeah.
get into that vinegar or mustard type stuff, you go,
Not so much. I'm with you. So you
yeah.
like Texas barbecue? That's really more brisket based. So that's
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely right up
yeah,
my.
yeah.
So we'll start off with Mr. Panda, number one on the best barbecue around.
So this is probably an emotional topic for some people, like you said, alluded to. There's no right or wrong here. These are just the ones that you and I love. There's about a billion of them in the US. These are, hey, I would say our Dirty Niner is, you're not going to go wrong with any of these. We don't know that they're the best, but and even in the city of Austin, where I spent 2 glorious years, there is a big argument, okay? Even within the city of Austin, okay? But I'm going to go with my favorite, and you've been there. I've taken you there, but my favorite is called the Salt Lick
Ah,
in
that's
Austin.
my number one as well. We do have one.
Okay.
Oh, that is absolutely my favorite. Yes, without
Um,
question.
I will post a video or no, a picture of the barbecue pit on our Facebook page, but it is it's out in the middle of nowhere. But now Austin's growing so fast that I hear that it's really not as far out in the boonies as it used to be. But anyway, it's in the middle of nowhere in a dry county. So you show up with a cooler of your own beer or whatever you want to drink, and it's all family style. So it's the brisket, it's the sausage, it's pulled pork, it's whatever, but all the sides are amazing. The potato salad and the pickles are freaking amazing there. Everything is amazing, and you normally have to 2 hour wait a lot of times. So you're sitting in your car, you're drinking your beer, whatever, while you're waiting, and then you go in. You're on these big picnic tables, and it's just an amazing experience. There's a lot of barbecue in the last 10 or 15 years in Austin, but the Salt Lick is really the OG for me, and so that's got to be my number one. So happy
That
to
it's
hear.
that's
Good.
that was my number one as well. That
Yeah,
is
that's
just
cool.
that the place. there, like you said, I probably had maybe 6 or 7 other Austin places, and they're all awesome. And right
Hmm.
around Salt Lake now, there were several. I read a recent story. The whole thing about the barbecue, it grew up kind of close by Salt Lake, and what it was, they were marching the cattle from anywhere from around the country, and that's where they were taking down their Texas for the slaughter down there. And so a couple of those meat houses where they were getting the meat, they had leftover things. And so a guy he was taking whatever leftover scrap, so they're using everything. And he threw them up to keep them going. They threw them up and smoked all the stuff that was left over. And so what grew out of that was the smokehouse,
Oh
and that's
no.
how to keep the meat around for a
Wow.
while. And then everybody was started coming by and said, "Man, that smoked whatever stuff's left over is awesome." And then some that
Oh.
also turned into the sausage as well. They, kind of the idea, whatever's left over and make. So yeah, that's why it's so prevalent around that Austin to down in San Antonio area because of
Hmm.
the meat processing that used to go on
Interesting.
with the cattle. Yeah, really interesting. That's why. So without a question, if you want to go for some of the best, that area, by God, you say Franklin's over there too.
Hmm.
And I can't even remember some of those other ones. I didn't look them all up,
Yeah.
but definitely number one on the list by far. So I'm going to throw in number two on my list as my other city that I really like. And it's been a long time since I've been there, but Kansas City, it also is beef. And there's a place on the train tracks in Kansas City. It just that's the one, and I think I've got it with it's called the County Road Ice House Barbecue, and it is similar down there to Austin. Kansas City was a big beef market too. You have the trains that are going right in front of you, and just good brisket. Oh, some of the best in Kansas City. Number two on the Dirty Niner.
That's so I've never been there, but ironically, my next choice is also from Kansas City. So
Wow.
yeah, so my wife's fam, she grew up in Kansas City, and so I heard about the barbecue there. So I went there for a trip. We went to visit for work, whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Kansas City. Where to go? And we didn't go to your place, but we went to a place called Joe's Kansas City
Oh
Barbecue.
yeah, Joe's. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Been there
yeah,
too.
so
Yes, that's a
so
good
what
one.
I learned on that trip, because yeah, it's more beef based, right? So the first time in my life I had burnt ends, and it's really burnt ends are just brisket where they cut off, and it's not really I don't think it's really the ends of the whatever, but they cut it off in little chunks,
It
and
is. It's the
they
ends.
yeah they it gets really brown and blackened, but then it's like just marinated, and it is just freaking glorious. And that was
And
my first ever
burn ends.
having burnt ends. And so
Oh
I have a local place where they also have good burnt ends, not quite the same, but yeah. So I had to go with Joe's as number three on our list.
man, that's funny. We go from to the same cities. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Been to Joe's. I was actually going between Joe's and the County Road Ice House. Good one. All right, number four on the list. We're gonna go back to Texas. I'm not gonna go. We could still certainly pick out more in Austin. There's a ton more. We're gonna go to Texas A&M, right near College Station, right outside of College Station. Is a out kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Good God, and it's the sides that also make this. So not only is it the beef barbecue, but the sides that went along. Place is called Truth Barbecue. Truth Barbecue, and there's no inside. You go in, order your stuff, and all the seating's outside. So don't go if it's raining. There's not all outdoors, and they only are open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a local farmer, and he gets his boys to go work Thursday, or excuse me, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it is some of the best barbecue you're ever going to have out in the middle of nowhere. Truth Barbecue. And I think it's called Brenham, Texas. Number
Wow.
four.
Okay. Okay. I've only been there once. Went to see when Texas used to play Texas A&M on Thanksgiving Day when I was in grad school. We went there, so we were in and out so fast. All I got to go was to a bar. I didn't get to try any BBQ, so I'll have to check that out if I ever make it back that way.
I don't know if you saw, but EA Sports made Texas A&M the hardest place to go play a football game with the crowd noise and all the other craziness that goes on. I
They're
can see it.
nuts.
They're
They're
nuts.
nuts. They
And
are
they have a
absolutely
lot of
nuts.
traditions,
They
things that
do.
go, but they are nuts.
They got those ROTC guys there,
Yeah,
and they're like orchestrating the crowd, and that when I was there, the bowl was not completely filled in, and now I believe they've completely just filled it up. So they're probably approaching what 100,000. I'm
they are.
imagining at this
They're
point.
one of the larger ones too. It is
Yeah,
loud, and they love their team. Too bad they
yeah,
can't put
yeah.
much on the field, but man, they love their team.
Ah,
Yeah, that is a.
yes,
They are full of passion,
yeah,
without question. That's a.
yeah,
And by the way, anybody ever want to go see a game? That's a place to go. Put it on the list. Texas A&M is a great spot to go see one, and what a great town too.
yeah. I agree. Even though they were the enemy, I do agree with that. All right, that's number four. So number five. So I'm a little bit of a story here. So when we lived down in Sandy Springs, we used to go up to Roswell to a place called Swallow at the Hollow on Green Street there, right behind kind of old Roswell, which has been totally made over with all these great restaurants and shops and everything. And Green Street was really isolated. So the owner got an offer he couldn't refuse and sold the property to, and now it's like all townhomes or whatever. I've driven through there now. It's long gone. But that gentleman took that money and came up to Milton, where you and I live, and started Q Barbecue. And Jill and I go to Q once a week. We've been doing it for probably like 5 years, and it's all the same food and barbecue. And I love their Brunswick stew, great sausage, great chopped pork. All the
Great
sides are,
sides. The sides
oh, the
are
sides are
unbelievable.
amazing.
We
I
get
had
the
the
sides
corn.
for our Thanksgiving. We get their sweet potato casserole. Every Thanksgiving has to be in it on the table. They are that's a really their sides are the best around.
They're so good. They have a corn casserole occasionally. If they ever have it, you got to get that. They have been their dessert, the bananas Foster, is amazing. I don't eat desserts. This is the only place that I'll maybe once every couple months I'll order the bananas. Actually, it's called the Bananas Doster for the name of the owner. But anyway, love that place. If you're ever in the Alpharetta area, I would highly recommend getting into Q.
Still another one of mine. I didn't think we were going to have any crossover. I'm running out on the low on the list. I only
All
came up
right.
with six. So,
Uh-oh.
all right. For number six on the
Number six.
list,
Yep.
I'm gonna go to a place where I really like the barbecue in this city, and this is just one of the ones. There's a couple chains that are really good there too. But I'm gonna go to one that we stayed at and took a lot of clients to was something called the Three Little Pigs in Memphis, Tennessee. And Memphis, Tennessee is another hot spot for some good barbecue. And there's a lot of them around here. This just happens to be one of the ones I liked. There's one downtown that's really good too. I think it's called the Standard, right by the hotel where they have the ducks. What's the hotel
Oh,
with the ducks? I don't remember the name. Yeah,
yeah. The Ambassador Hotel. Is it the Ambassador?
I think it's what it is. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah, I
right.
think so. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, if you go to Memphis, gotta go see the ducks come out of there. And it's the dumbest thing. Open up the hotel and then walk the ducks across the street or whatever, stop traffic. And anyway, the Three Little Pigs, that pork. So by the name, Three Little Pigs
Yeah.
pork barbecue. But they have some darn good pork barbecue, and what I remember is their sauce. Their sauce is some of the best around too.
Mm.
So definitely the place to go see.
That is important. I am a big sauce person. Like, if I opened up a restaurant, it would probably be called Sauces because I would just like whatever the food is, and I would have like 62 different sauces that you could put on because that's how much I love. So barbecue is like right up my alley. So yeah, a barbecue place has to have at least one, if not multiple, really good barbecue options. So that's good to hear that Three Little Pigs has got you covered there. All right,
So
number
where are we at?
seven.
Number seven
Number
on the
seven.
Dirty Niner.
So I took my team to this place on a recommendation, and it's down in Atlanta, not far from downtown. And I really, really loved it. I think there's actually a couple locations. I think it started in Charleston, and now there's a location in Atlanta. It's called Rodney Scott's Barbecue. And
Oh, never
have you
heard of
ever?
this one.
Oh my gosh, so good. So good. And it was they have brisket, so they got, but it was really more pork based. But the talk about your sauces, oh my God, and the sides. We just ordered family style, and I remember the mac and cheese. Oh my God. So yeah, if you're in Atlanta and kind of downtown, there's several in Fox Brothers is another. That's up to your alley. That's Texas barbecue downtown Atlanta is another good
We
one. But
still
I
have not
would,
tried. I still have not tried Fox Brothers. I can't believe I haven't tried that either.
it's good. I mean, they're from Texas and they moved to Atlanta, and so it's brisket.
I
And
think that's who Mr. Dave uses for their muscular dystrophy benefit up at his house. I think they
oh,
bring in Fox Brothers. Or
oh
yeah,
wow,
they bring in Fox Brothers.
oh
So
wow,
they come up to DC and cook for
yeah,
them
wow,
and
that's
their
cool.
benefit. Yes.
Okay, so that's number 7 on the list. So Rodney Scott's.
Good call. I got that's a new one. I got to write that one down. Rodney Scott's. I'm definitely going to go check that out. All right. Well, you stole a couple of mine. I had to go grab a quick one. Well, I was thinking, I'm going, what was the other one? So I'm going to go to a place. The barbecue's good. It has really good ribs, and so when you find some really good ribs, they're a little bit of a chain, but not that much. There's about 3 or 4 locations, but we only like the best one when we go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and go to Dreamland Barbecue.
Yeah,
And that is one, it is out in the middle of, I mean, it's in the middle of it's a tiny little shack in a neighborhood that you just wouldn't think of a good barbecue joint there. And it is some of the best barbecue around. Lots of pork, but they do have beef on there. Brisket's good. Like their sauce and that mac and cheese they make. There's a good mac and cheese in their cornbread. They have
oh,
good cornbread. Yummy,
oh,
yummy. And it
love
is
me some
just,
cornbread.
and I mean, I swear they use a mop that you see that you're mopping on the floor to put the mop onto any of their barbecue. And it's just awesome. Oh, and I forgot the best one. There's another one I forgot here in town too, but we'll do honorable mentions here at the end.
Yeah, we'll do honorable mentions. Okay, before I go to, I guess, number 9 on the list, I'm going to give a shout out because you brought up ribs. Montgomery Inn Ribs in
Oh yeah.
Cincinnati. They are the
Oh
best ribs. We have
yes.
them shipped in, and we actually made it our Thanksgiving tradition to get rid of turkey, and we bring in Montgomery Inn ribs. Oh my goodness, and their sauces are amazing. So
Oh,
that's a kind of a shout out since you brought up ribs. They're not a true barbecue, like, as I think of a barbecue place, but the ribs are amazing. So
nice shout
anyway,
out.
I think we have to go back to Austin, and I think we have to put Franklin Barbecue on there just
Ah,
because that is considered by
the
most
best.
of the locals in Austin to be the place. It opens up around 9 or so in the morning, and if you work in downtown Austin, you actually go get in line around 9 or 10 because if you don't get to eat lunch. They're usually the line is so long they sell out by like 2, and so they when they make what they make, and then when it's gone for that day. And there's so many tourists want to come in now, so it's so hard to get the food. But I think they've been on like the Visa commercial. It's like the famous barbecue in downtown on the east side of downtown there in
Oh, it
Austin.
is
But
so
it's
good.
so good. It
And the
really
only
is.
reason it's not on my list is just because I don't want that line. If it
Yeah,
just bums me
yeah,
out. Been in it,
yeah.
and you go,
You got to be
I,
motivated to
you
have
got to be
Franklin.
motivated to
Yeah,
stand in line and
yeah,
go through all of that. And I go,
yeah.
give me the salt lick. I'm better in the. I'll get
Exactly.
in. I'll get in there within an hour and
Yeah,
not have to be because it's 2 hours
yeah.
easy
Hmm.
to get through that Franklin line. Good call.
Yeah.
I've got to throw out an honorable mention. It may not always be somewhat the best barbecue, but the experience in going there, you have to go here in Atlanta as a well. Fat Matt's Rib Shack in
Oh, yeah.
uh
Yeah.
they've got some good blues music. Their barbecue's pretty darn good. But that just the experience of Fat Matt's just sitting around there and hanging out. Love Fat Matt's as one of the
Good
honorable
call.
mentions.
Good
Yeah.
call.
Oh,
I got a couple of honorable mentions I want to bring out. I want to shout out to Smoke Jack. So they're
oh
in downtown
yes.
Alpharetta. That's where I get my burnt ends. They are really, really good. And you know, Smoke Jack was like the only thing going in Alpharetta before they made over that downtown. It survived when it was the only thing, and now it's like the place where everybody goes, and so it's thriving. But it literally went 5 years, and it was the only game in town. So kudos for that, those owners to stay strong. And yeah, and so final call out, and you're gonna laugh, all right? So just go with this for a second, all right? So we went to Italy back, what, 15 years ago or whenever it was, and you remember like the best sandwiches were in the gas stations, right? You had the great bread,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
sliced
yeah.
ham and cheese, and you go in there and you're like, this is better than anything you get in the US, right? And it's in a gas
I'm glad you
station.
remember that because the gas station sandwiches are the best. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
the
We got
best.
nothing like that in the US. So have you ever gone, do you ever go into like QT, a quick trip, which is like, a gas station that's in the South? You go in there and the brisket tacos are freaking amazing. So every time we go on a trip, we go in there, gas up, get our
Really? So
drink.
now you're gonna make me go to the Quick Trip and get some
Yes,
brisket
I
tacos.
promise you, I will not let you down. Go get a brisket taco
I'm
or
gonna
maybe
have to
two.
try it. I haven't tried Bucky's brisket yet either. Apparently has a brisket in there too. I want to try that one. I heard it's really good.
I haven't been to Bucky's yet, but I am going to stop in there next time I go past one. But yeah, for QT, which we got several around the area, go in there. Their brisket tacos are to die for. And you wouldn't believe it came from a gas station. I promise you.
That's a nice honorable mention.
Yeah.
I would have never in my life think about that too. Stop in for brisket tacos at the
Yes.
Quick Trip. That's a good reference point though. When in Italy and even France, even Spain, go to those gas stations. Oh my God, those sandwiches at the gas stations are the best.
Yeah.
All right, last segment here. Talking point. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, like the Panda Red Wheels here, we grew up around college football. It was the sport. So we were surrounded by the NFL. We certainly had our NFL teams, but gravitated just watching college football. There's nothing better. Back then you were lucky to get two or three games on you were dying just to get
Mhm.
we normally have Ohio State. You would
Yeah.
always have that. But if you anything else was rare, certainly
Mhm.
nothing from the South was on TV.
No, no.
Uh, and I grew up, I was born in Pennsylvania, so we would always try to get Pitt or Penn State watching them with the Buckeyes. But growing up in the 80s and 90s, um, there was really no replay, right? You're just watching the game, yelling at the officials. Of course, they were always wrong. There's nobody checking anything. So, Panda, your perspective in growing up in the 80s
Yeah.
and 90s watching the
Yeah. I would say even going back to the 70s when I was a wee tyke, I remember. So my grandmother lived on Edgewood Avenue there in Lancaster, and her next door neighbor was just this really nice gentleman and husband and wife. And, you know, the Buckeyes were in the Rose Bowl like every year in the 70s for whatever reason, and they almost lost every year. So
every
I
year.
remember,
You're new. You're gonna get disappointed. And go, I can't watch
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
can't watch it.
So
USC is gonna kick our butts again.
So Dave and Delma was so Dave would bet me like a Hershey bar, and it would be the Buckeyes versus USC or UCLA or whoever it was. And I remember like constantly having to go and get like my 20 cents to give him his Hershey bar because the Buckeyes almost always lost. And that was like my first real memory of like college football is just the giving up my hard-earned 20 cents to get a candy bar so I lose a bet. And then as I kind of went into the 80s, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to read the Sunday Columbus Dispatch, and they'd have all the Ohio State
Stats. Had to watch.
stats and
Yeah.
articles and all of whatever. And then on like the PBS station, they would show a replay of the game, like starting at 11 in the morning or noon on Sunday. And so we would get up, we'd have the paper, and then I put it on the floor and then turn the game on, and you're watching like the local broadcast of the game. And so that was like me growing up. That's my early recollection. And now it's like every game on every conference is on anywhere you want to watch it on your phone, on the TV. It's just totally
On
different
Saturday we
experience.
start at 9 a.m. and we go till 1 in the morning. We're just constantly
Yeah.
watching anything we can watch.
Yeah.
just consuming it. And back then, you're just happy getting one game.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
remember the same thing. Turn it on Sundays, and you were catching it on Sundays as well.
Yeah.
That rebroadcast, and then that's it. From there on, you're jonesing.
So when I was in the 90s and I was a little bit older, working, the one of the things about in San Diego on the West Coast that was really cool, like literally the games came on at like 9
9
or
a.m.
10, right? If it's a 1 o'clock game, so usually like starting at noon. So we would get up Saturday morning, go to this really cool bar in Del Mar, order our first like pitcher of beers, watch, the noon game, which is 9 a.m. And then you got the 3 o'clock game, which is noon. And then by like 3 o'clock, you're done for the day. You're like toasted. But it was cool. Like you could start your day watching whatever the game was, whether it would be
You took me to that bar in Del Mar.
yeah,
That was yes. I
that
can't.
was
We were
very
watching Ohio
cool.
State and somebody at 9
Yeah,
a.m. with a
yep,
pitcher of beer by. Yes, of
exactly.
course.
So that was fun. I remember those days well. That was fun.
Yeah, it is. So now it's that it's so much has changed from any of that. Of yeah, and the clicker now moving through.
Oh my God.
We were the clickers back in the day, moving.
Go
Dad
change
sitting back,
channel.
go change the channel. Right.
Exactly.
There was no clicker. We go up there and flip the channel back and forth, all three stations.
Exactly. Dad always put me on the floor so I could be there. One just whoop, go turn the channel to channel 10 or channel 6 or channel 4, whichever was on. And now it's like, yeah, you need like three TVs to watch all the games that you want to watch at the same time. So obviously much better experience these days. But back then we really had to work pretty hard to get our Jonesing in for football.
There's something to be said. The simple is nice. I really like the simple. And now in the past 2 years, college football has gotten so much more complicated.
Mhm.
I mean, unbelievable. I can't imagine these poor kids coming out. Any sport, they're really. I couldn't imagine the baseball. We're going to talk about that. The experience of trying to get to a college from playing baseball and the how colleges don't really always commit to their kids coming
Yeah.
in of what's
Yeah.
happening. It's insanity.
Yeah.
And now the whole NIL and transfer portal, but just decisions to make all the time.
It's
Like,
the NIL is going to be the end of it all for, it's there, it's pay to play. It's not name, image, and likeness. It's how much money you're going to get to go play a
right.
sport at
The
a
intention
school.
and anybody with half a brain would have saw the intention was
Yeah.
going to be. I mean, you didn't have to have any sort of intellect to know what was
No.
going to go right off the bat.
Yeah. And it's gone straight to the, yeah. So you're literally paying players. They are effectively employees of your university. I don't like it. I would say create a league and let all those who are good enough to get paid to play, and then go back to like just true student athletes. That'll never happen, so I'm not suggesting that it should or will, but I would be happier if it was just truly kind of back to the way it was. Maybe that's get off my lawn old fart kind of thinking, but yeah, this whole NIL is just going to be the end of sports as
The
we
only
college
chance I
sports.
see that happening is when finally these two leagues, the Fox versus the ESPN leagues, when those two leagues are finally formed,
Yeah.
um, then what settles out of the teams that don't make the cut, that could still be what happens. That we have true, and
Right.
whatever amount of teams that are left,
Yeah.
those are the paid teams, and the next tier
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I
You
can
got your
see it
pro
going.
league.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pro
Yes.
league, and then those that might transfer up to the pro league
Yeah.
after they've
Yeah.
started their careers, but they get their college education and focus on that. And it's the only way I could see that system working.
That's kind of like the Premier League over in Europe in the soccer. Like you have, I don't know how many teams are in the Premier, but you can get promoted or demoted depending on your performance. I mean, you could do something like that with college football as well. I mean, I don't know that it would happen, but I do think kind of the haves are kind of going to be in that pay to play group, and then the have-nots will have their own TV deals and they'll play good football, but they're going to be on some different level, I think, at some point. That's because a lot of these schools, their athletic departments were already losing money before all of this is taken off, and now they're just going to lose more money. They're at some point going to say, we can't do this. We can't compete with Michigan or Ohio State or Alabama, Florida State or Miami, Oregon. We can't compete with those. So let's just go give us a chance to compete with like-minded universities and go win our little championship, and then you guys
And
go
it
pay
should be, and
whatever.
that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
What are we at? 100 and almost 140 teams now at D1 level. And it's got to go down to almost, I thought 64 is a nice number, but I think that probably is going to be too many. It's going
yeah,
to probably be at 48. Let those 48 go do it, and then create even one or two more leagues where those
yeah,
guys have a chance to go play for a championship.
yeah, yeah.
At least the D3, you get whatever it's now,
Mhm.
FCS C or whatever it's called
Whatever.
now. They at least have a chance to go play for a championship, and I think that's important. Everybody's a competitor. We want to win.
Yeah,
Give them a chance to go win something.
yeah. Agreed.
All right, great show, Panda.
Yeah.
Coming up,
So
we got some good things coming up. Got another couple funny bookings we're going to be putting on, and we're going to be getting our two listeners. We're going to introduce the audience to our two listeners here coming up. We're planning that next. Hopefully, taping. We're going to bring listener one and listener two on board and go through and do some funny interviews. So stay tuned to the Red Wheels Panda, the fastest growing podcast out there. So, Panda, great show this week.
let
Have
me
a
close
good
it out.
time in Hilton Head.
Thank you. I got one. I'm going to close it out with our Stump Steve question. So
All
I know
right.
you're trying not to get stumped here. So I know you're trying to push past this, but I'm not going to let you do it. So here we go. This is something we're going to try, and I think maybe Wheels will try to stump Panda maybe next time. But we're going to start with Stump Steve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going
Which is not hard.
to. My family's going to laugh at you if you don't get this, but that's because this movie means a lot to my family. But anyway, so I'm going to provide a movie quote from the 80s. A great
Ferris
movie,
Bueller's Day Off. Oh, okay.
very, very famous line, and we're going to see if you guess the movie, okay? So that's it. So here we go. Here's the movie quote. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I'm only gonna say it's got to be the Three Amigos, but it's not that movie. Is it the Three Amigos? My
No.
name is Prepared to Die. I know that movie too. Dang it! My name is Montana.
Rob
Prepared to Die.
Reiner directed.
I was going not Steve Martin or those guys were
No.
not in that movie. Keep on going. Give me another little hint.
So it was
My name is Montana.
Carrie Ellis was the actor, and I can't remember the actor now who actually quoted that line. He still is an actor on TV.
Oh, he's gonna
Um,
kill me. I know this
um,
movie and I don't know the name. Go ahead, tell me what it
Billy
is.
Crystal was in it. Andre the Giant was in
Oh,
it.
no way, it's not the City Slickers.
No, no, no.
Dang it.
It's about a a made up fairy tale story, and it's told by Fred Savage. Fred Savage is the little boy in bed, and Peter Falk is his grandfather, Columbo. Peter
Yeah,
Falk
yeah.
actor. He's reading this book to Fred Savage, who's sick, and it's called this movie title, and it's like a fairy tale that then it
I
gets
am not gonna
reenacted.
get it. What is it?
It's called The Princess Bride.
Oh, The Princess
Great,
Bride.
great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah,
Great
yeah,
movie.
yeah. I would never remember the name of that movie.
Okay,
Yes,
all
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. But I've seen it now. I probably I know 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, great
That's a
movie.
good movie.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
All
hard
right.
for me to stump you. You've seen so many movies.
Well, pick
I
another
am.
topic. It doesn't have to be movies. It can be
Oh, I like your
any
movie
topic.
idea. Well, I'm gonna come up with one. Okay, I know which movie I'm gonna do. You've probably
Okay.
seen it.
Okay.
I got the Stump the
I'll be
Panda.
ready. I'll be ready.
All right, good show,
All right.
listeners. Please ask questions. We'll
Yep.
answer your questions. We didn't peek at this week, so we got to go out there and take a peek for uh, any feedback. Go ahead, post them. We will get back to you. Thank you all for listening. We'll be off for a week as the pandas are out enjoying life in Hilton Head. So we'll be back in about a week and a half.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Oh shit! Oh shit! $80, baby! Yeah, yeah. That took 1 second.